Is Shadow just edgy, or is there more under the surface? After my Sonic and ADHD video blew up, tons of you commented about another fan theory that Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form himself, might actually be autistic. And honestly, the more you look into it, the more it starts to make sense. So I made a poll on the channel, and the results were not as I expected, so I decided to do my research on the topic. And so today, we're doing a full deep dive, breaking down Shadow's behavior, comparing it to real autism traits, checking what fans and even Sonic writers have said about it. This isn't just a wouldn't it be funny if, this is a serious look at a character who might just be a lot more relatable than people realize. Let's get into it. Quick refresher. What is autism? First, quick and simple. Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a neurological variation, not a disease, not something broken. It affects things like social communication, emotional regulation, sensory processing patterns of behavior and interests. Autistic people might find it harder to express or interpret emotions, prefer routines and predictability, struggle with loud or overwhelming environments, feel emotions deeply but express them differently, have intense, passionate interests. Not every autistic person is the same. It's called a spectrum for a reason. Now, before we dive into whether Shadow the Hedgehog has autism or just severe main character energy, your boy got sponsored, baby. And it's all thanks to you absolute legends out there showing love and supporting the channel. Today's sponsor is none other than the one and only Meccha Japan. Meccha Japan is a treasure trove of Japanese goodness. We're talking SEGA, Pokemon, Nintendo, you name it. Over 50,000 plus high quality products shipped worldwide with prices that don't chaos blast your wallet. And the customer service, let's just say they're more responsive than Sonic in a boss fight. And yes, they reply in English. And here's the juicy part. Use my code BLUR10 to get $10 off when you order over $100. But don't sleep on it. The code is only active for 1 week after this video drops. Everything is in the description and pinned comment. Find rare items you literally won't see anywhere else and follow Meccha Japan on X or Instagram to keep up with new drops, promos, and exclusive goodies. Alright, now back to Shadow trauma and existential dread. Alright, now that we're on the same page, let's talk about the ultimate life form himself. Shadow's story, the tragedy behind the edge. To understand Shadow's behavior, you have to understand his backstory. Created by Professor Gerald Robotnik 50 years before the main series, designed to be the ultimate life form, fast, strong, immortal. Built to be a companion to Gerald's sick granddaughter. Witnessed Maria's death during the Ark incident, extremely traumatic. Put into stasis, woke up decades later, angry, confused, isolated. Shadow wasn't just made. He lost everything the second he started living. He wakes up in a world he doesn't understand, full of people who don't understand him. Sound familiar? Already, we're checking big boxes. Trauma, disconnection from others, struggling to adapt to a confusing world. Shadow and PTSD, the pain that never left. Before we jump into the deep dive on autism traits, there's something important we have to acknowledge. It's a known fact, and something most Sonic fans agree on, that Shadow absolutely suffers from PTSD. Yeah, not even up for debate. Watching Maria die, waking up 50 years later to a world that erased everything he knew, being manipulated and weaponized over and over. That's textbook trauma. You can feel it in how he struggles with memory loss, rage, emotional numbness, and his ongoing existential crisis. And trust me, we're definitely going to do a full video exploring Shadow's PTSD another time because it deserves its own spotlight. That one's going to hurt in the best way. But for today, we're focusing on another layer of Shadow's identity. Not just the trauma he endured, but the way his brain might naturally be wired even without the tragedy. Alright, now let's talk behavior analysis. Now, let's break it down category by category. 1. Social interaction. Shadow struggles with typical social cues. He speaks bluntly. He doesn't do small talk. He's intensely loyal to a few people, but distant from everyone else. He isn't rude for the sake of it. He genuinely processes interaction differently. He also doesn't like big groups or crowds. Compare this to common autistic traits. Direct communication. Preference for one-on-one relationships. Difficulty with casual socializing. 2. Emotional expression. Shadow feels emotions very deeply, but he rarely shows it externally. When he does express, it's intense. explosive anger, fierce loyalty, silent mourning for Maria. He doesn't fake smiles. He doesn't do happy face for social rules. He's authentic, even when it's uncomfortable for others. In autism, that's called flat affect or emotional monotone, where the expression doesn't always match the intensity of the feeling. 3. Love of routine and mission focus. Once Shadow has a mission, it becomes his whole life. Revenge for Maria, protecting Earth, finding his purpose. He's laser focused. Changes in the mission throw him off emotionally. Many autistic people find comfort in having a clear purpose or a strict routine. It creates structure in a confusing world. Shadow's obsession with missions isn't just cool writing. It tracks with real-world autism traits. 4. Empathy. Misunderstood, not missing. People often think Shadow is cold, but look deeper. He loves Maria so deeply it defines his entire life, sacrifices himself to protect Earth twice, shows patience and protectiveness toward people like Rouge. Shadow's issue isn't a lack of empathy, it's difficulty expressing it in ways people expect. This is a huge autistic stereotype. People assume low empathy, but the real issue is communication styles. Shadow cares deeply, he just shows it differently. 5th, sensory processing. This one's more speculative, but think about it. Shadow doesn't like crowds. Loud, chaotic environments, like battles, seem to genuinely overwhelm him at times. He prefers quiet, isolated spaces. The ARK, ruins, forests, could be coincidence. Or it could line up with sensory sensitivity, where overwhelming sounds, lights, and movement drain or stress autistic people faster. What fans say. Across Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, and forums, the fan theory that Shadow might be autistic has exploded. Many autistic fans say Shadow was one of the first characters they related to. Quotes from fans: Shadow doesn't need to explain himself to be valid. That's powerful. He doesn't mask. He doesn't pretend. He just is. Representation matters, even if it's unofficial. Seeing a character struggle to find belonging and still be heroic means a lot. Officially, SEGA has never labeled Shadow as autistic. Most likely, the traits we see are a combination of tragic writing, Japanese anti-hero tropes, cool stoic rival archetype, but, and this is important, authorial intent isn't the only thing that matters. Fans interpreting Shadow through an autistic lens is valid. Art is about connection, and if Shadow's story speaks to you, that's real. Now, before we wrap up, Shadow isn't the only character in the Sonic universe that fans have connected with through an autistic lens. While these are just my opinions, let's talk about a few others real quick. Tails, super high intelligence, hyper-focus on mechanics and inventions, struggles with social confidence, but forms extremely strong bonds when he trusts someone. Yeah, a lot of autistic fans say Tails feels extremely relatable. Silver the Hedgehog, socially awkward time traveler who doesn't pick up on sarcasm or subtlety, who acts out of a pure, passionate need to fix things, even if he doesn't always get how people react. Silver's hyper-focus and literal thinking are big autistic-coded traits. Blaze the cat struggles with understanding social norms, has difficulty opening up emotionally, feels overwhelmed by new environments. Blaze literally learns to trust and form connections over time, but it's a real battle for her. Omega. Okay, he's a robot, but Omega's super literal thinking, obsession with specific goals, and black and white view of the world. Honestly, his programming feels unintentionally autistic coded, and a lot of fans headcanon it that way. Point is, the Sonic universe has always been about celebrating differences. There's room for everyone in these stories. Whether intentional or not, a lot of characters in this franchise reflect real neurodiverse experiences, and that's part of why this fandom is so powerful. Why this matters. Talking about neurodivergence in characters like Shadow matters because it normalizes different communication and emotional styles. It shows heroes don't have to fit a mold. It validates real people who see themselves in these stories. Whether you see Shadow as autistic, traumatized, or just Shadow being Shadow, what's undeniable is that he's a character built on depth, emotion, and authenticity. And honestly, maybe that's why he's the ultimate life form after all. Drop a comment. Do you think Shadow might be autistic? Or is he just the ultimate introvert? Smash like, subscribe for more deep dives, and stay tuned because next time we're going even deeper. And remember, you are valid. You are powerful. And sometimes being misunderstood is just part of being ultimate. And as always, go get your yellow blur moment.